All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, in 1215, King John of England issued what we know today as the Magna Carta. Now, it was some sort of, a right trying to say that everyone was equal under the law. Highborn, the king, everybody, you had to obey the law. So that's what everybody understands as the Magna Carta, the first one, as it were. But now today we have a book titled The Magna Carta of Leadership, and the title really got me, because when I think about that, that's quite for those who are, you might not pick, for those who are interested in stuff like that, this one really gets you. And the author here is Chigozie, Captain Chigozie Hahabo. He's a highly certified maritime leader and researcher in educational leadership, known for his exceptional expertise in safety, security, and environmental strategy. It is great to have you. Welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Quite an interesting title. And then you have the chess piece here, the king, and other chess pieces around the Magna Carta of Leadership. It's also more or less, when you say the Magna Carta of Leadership, what exactly are you trying to pass across with such a title? Well,
basically, this book is not prescriptive. I'm not prescribing it for anybody, but then it's a call to understand the ideas and core principles, the phenomenon, the laws, and everything around leadership that you need to know. And my hope is that everyone will approach it with an open mind.
With an open mind.
And something else I would clarify is that leadership also is, there are two basic ideas that everyone needs to know.
Okay.
Leadership is photostatic and also photogenetic. So when I mean photostatic, I mean that at some point you need to adapt, and then that's photostatic. It's photogenic means that other times you will need to evolve and grow and change. So this is the idea, and then it's not a position. Leadership is not a position. You don't need to be the president or a governor to lead. You can lead even from the bottom. So, and normally it's a divine call.
A divine
Yes,
call.
It's divine.
So are you saying that
it's more than just a position?
So are you saying that it is a reserve of some select few? When you say it's a divine call, does that mean can everybody be called, or is it the...
Everybody cannot be called.
Okay.
Everybody cannot be a leader. That's just a fact. And that's what we get wrong within our own...
This is kind of disruptive in nature, because people there, you also hear thought leaders who will say everybody can.
Well, also there are some school of thoughts, like there are theories around it, like the great man's theory. You believe there's a theory that leaders are born, and also the threat theory too. There are inherent threats that would make you a leader. So if you check also, even if I use the scriptures to buttress this point, you know how the Bible says that in a great house, there are not only vessels of gold and silver. There are vessels of brass, of iron, of even clay. So everyone cannot be a leader. Thank you.
All right. Now, over here now, you've spoken about, let's discover the foundation of leadership. Let's talk about types of good leaders. Right? It's your fourth chapter here, types of good leaders. What do you mean when you say types of good leaders? What exactly are you saying at this particular point in time?
I'll flip through.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice way. So let's flip through. That should be on page, you're starting from page 25. Yeah. That's why you're talking about the types of good leaders.
Yeah, it's 25.
Yes.
Yeah, so normally, there are different types of leaders. But what I've just done here is to highlight these ones that I think are very good, like very good, I would say. No, every leader is good, but then, for example, I talked about transformational leadership.
Okay.
Transformational leadership is very important, because this type of leader comes and he changes everything. Everything changes, and mainly this change is effected through policy. Policy is the tool you use to make changes. Like what is happening in Nigeria now. I think I would not say we have a bad leader, because there are policies in place that people do not understand.
Okay.
Yeah, but these policies, if you analyze them, you will see that in the long run, they will effect changes and make the country a better place.
So more or less the system. Let me put this to you now. This is an aside from your book. Where people complain about the system,
Okay.
right? How does leadership in a particular scenario, how do you try to affect the system? Because people tell you, like, if you look at Nigeria now, they say what we have is a system problem.
Yeah.
So that almost anybody that
You're
comes
right.
in there, even when the person is a good person, but the system is set up in such a way that it will stifle whatever thing that you try to do. In such a situation, what kind of skill would you want a leader to do? How do you effect change on a system that has been so entrenched in whatever vices that it has been for a long time?
Okay, basically it's vision. If you have a vision, then you know where you're heading to. If you're a visionary leader, these are some of the core qualities of a good leader. So if you've got vision, vision is like a bird that just relaxes and then he has made a target, he knows where he's going, and he takes off like the eagle, and he moves without any obstruction. So if you're visionary, you know where you're heading to, and you will not allow people to, pull you down. So that's basically the idea.
All right. Now, you have something here that says applying research to practice. That is,
where is that?
Chapter 8. It's from page 57. Applying research to practice. Where you draw that line, of course, between the theoretical parts, things that you learn, and then putting them into practice. What exactly do you mean by that research? What sort of research are you inferring here, and how do you put it to practice, as you mentioned here?
Okay, for example, I used an illustration where I used the servant leadership and morale in education. There's a secondary school in Ebonyi State where I used as a case study a principal that adopted servant leadership, prioritized teachers' well-being, and offered professional development. And that's how things were changed. So research, like me personally, I've done a lot of research, and I'm looking forward to applying them. And I'm doing that in my little way. You will not do more than the opportunities you have. Yes, so I'm applying them in my little way to effect changes. So this is the same thing, every other person. So this book, I've put up a lot of ideas. I think it's while the idea of leadership cannot be exhausted, I cannot do everything in one book, but I've been able to stimulate the basic principles. So if you go through it, it will give you idea on how to go about it.
About leading.
About
Wonderful.
leading.
Now let's wrap up with this. The last chapter, the 13th chapter here, says leadership in the future. What do you mean by that?
Okay.
Page 107, 107. So about leadership in the future. What exactly do you mean by that?
Same thing I'm talking about vision. You know what is happening now? What is happening now is we are in the age of artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And the truth is that the future we have in leadership, we need to optimize AI to lead. You have to use, you make optimum use of it. You can, that's what we call strength-based leadership, where you can search for people who are good in certain areas, pull them up. It can be remote. Pull them up, and then you can effect changes the way you want. So the future is your ability to think ahead. I'll use a case study. While I was younger, if you go to a prominent man's event, you see that an aircraft is there, and someone is using a camera to, video everything. But what's happening now? A little boy can just sit and use a drone and capture everything.
Everything that you
So
need
do you
to
know how many people lost their jobs?
From one spot.
Okay, I am a maritime expert, and now in my own industry, we're talking of autonomous shipping. Some places it has started. Currently,
you don't need to go there.
Yeah?
The depths that human beings cannot get there. All you need to do is manned, submarines or something where you don't even have a single person inside.
So right now, a lot of people are very happy. We have jobs, we have this, but the future requires for you to think strategically and be visionary. The whole thing is life is about vision. If you don't have vision, you're like a bird that has wings and then it's cut off.
Cut off, you can't fly.
You can't fly.
Thank you very much for your insightful you know, comment on this. And yeah, Magna Carta of Leadership. I love the title. All right, it's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. See you some other time.
All right, now that's it. We'll see you after this time out.